Hi you guys, this is Jamie Lola Tallulah, and this is a little, just to share, Charmaine. I wanted to show you what kind of machine I have. I actually have three, but this is the one I'm using today. So I have my Cuttlebug, so let me show you what it looks like. Okay, so first of all, this is what it looks like. It looks like a little purse. And on one side you have a handle that kind of recesses into here. When you're ready to use it, you pull it up and it comes out so you can swing it. And then it folds up so it's really nice, especially for people like me who have a limited space, because you guys know I basically have one wall of craft space and that's it, no room. So then what you do now on the bottom, let's see if you can see on there. On the bottom, this actually like suctions to your table depending on what kind of surface you have. I'm using my craft mat, so it's not going to stick as well. Actually, it won't stick at all, really. But that's okay, because I end up turning mine anyway. So then, Charmaine, what you do is you open this, and so you have these, well, see the suctions a little more. So you open these, and this is what creates the suction. And this is your, I don't know what you're going to call it, your bed, I guess, the bed of your machine. Then you have your plates. Okay, so you have an A plate. It comes with the machine. Okay, and it's thick, as you can see. It's a thick, here, let me move this a little bit. As you can see, it's a thick pad. Okay, and this you use most of the time. So you put that on the inside like that. Let me show the other plates. There's a C plate, which I'm using because I am using wafer thin dies, and I'll show you those in a minute. And then I'm also using a metal shim, and you can use cardstock or whatever. I'm using this metal shim. Who gave me this? Glow gave me this. So you put that next, and this is called your sandwich. So it's the A plate, then my shim, then I'm putting my C plate because I'm using wafer thin dies, and I kind of want to get this in here. So let me get this back on there. I'm trying to get it centered. So then I have my C plate. Okay, then you have a B plate, and you actually, the machine comes with an A and two B's, and as you see, this is the one you use to cut. So my one side is all scratched up, and then I flipped it over because it was warping really bad, so I started running it the other way today. Okay, then you have your dies. So here is a wafer thin die. Now there's paper stuck in it, but it doesn't really matter. So here's a wafer thin die. They come in different packaging, like this one. Okay, so that's the die I'm actually cutting with. Then I have these thin dies. Okay, and then when you look at it, one side is pretty flat and the other side is all bumpy. I don't know if you can see that. That's the cutting side. Okay. Let's see. There's all kinds of dies. Let me get the other one I was looking at. There's this kind of die, and it's a thin die, but it is on like a black metal kind of thing with cushion. Here, let me move the camera back over. Sorry, with cushion, and I don't know if you can see the design, and it'll cut. And for me, on my machine, and the dip thickness of this one, you cut it the same way as you would a wafer thin die. Then you have a steel rule die, which of course I wasn't working with, so I didn't have it out. Hold on, because I have a bunch of them right here. Let's just grab this one because it's close. Excuse me if you see anything untoward, like my big butt. Okay, then I'll show you a steel rule die. Hopefully you don't see my tatas flopping around. Okay, so then you have a die like this, which is a steel rule die. And you will see that they are a lot thicker. They're a lot thicker. Okay, so you don't use you don't use a C thing. You use these and 2B plates, but you can see the design on it, and they're way thicker. See, let me just put it together so you can see it. So you can see the difference in the die. But it cuts, you know, and then it cuts your paper. Now, the difference between this and my silhouette, which I absolutely love, is that on the silhouette you can resize, and you don't need plates, you just need a blade. So, let me just go ahead and put that over there for you. Now, I'm going to move this back in frame. So since I am cutting a wafer thin die, this one, I am going to use my A plate, my blade, my plate, shim plate, my C plate. Then some people tell you to cut with the die up, which means with the things that way. Some people tell you to cut with it down. I always cut with it up. I don't know. I think probably because I can see it better. So I cut with the die up. You put the die next. And then I'm using book pages, and I'm just going to use 2 layers. You can cut it one at a time as long as it'll fit through here. So you just put the paper on. Can you see that? So you put your paper on. Get it all lined up. And then you have to use your other B plate. So here's my B plate. And then I'm just going to... and you got to get the B plate. I don't know if you can see... If you can see the... Maybe if I turn out... See the hole down here? This is where you're going to shove it through. And you have to kind of get the B plate in a little bit first, and then the rest of this. And then you can put it down. Another thing, if you're worried about it moving, you can tape it down. Okay? So next thing, I'm just going to hold it until it gets started through the machine. And then I'm going to turn it this way so you can see what happens. So, can you see that? I don't know if the shadow's too much. But it's just, it's like basically it is a press. And then you see it just comes through. And you probably heard that click. And then I'm just going to go run it backwards. So you don't even have to take it out. You can just run it backwards. And depending on how many layers you have, yeah. So then it comes there. Then take your B plate off. There's my scraps. And then this is what it looks like in the die. And there's the back. And then you just pop it out. Then I popped it out. Since I'm using book pages and they're thin and old, you want to be careful with that. And then you do get paper crumbs, I guess. And then, like I said, I have 2 together. Like this one just tore a little bit, but so I cut 2 at the same time because the paper was thin enough. So that's how the die cut machine works. And it's awesome. I absolutely love it. And then, of course, you do end up with these little pieces in there. Some people say use wax paper. I don't have any, so yeah. Some people say you can use parchment paper, like as another layer over this. I don't have any of that either, so I just go through and cut it. Now, I'm gonna put this to the side for a second. And then basically, it's real easy. Just go through and poke these out. And you'll notice I cut it, and it's when I just showed you the demo, I cut it, and it still had these pieces in it, and it came out just fine. Okay. So some people sit there and pick it out all the way around. I don't. I'll pick some of it out. And then I'll just cut something else again, and it'll keep popping out. Now, eventually, it's not, it's gonna, you have to clean it out, but you don't have to do it like every single time you run it through. Okay, so there's that one, and then I guess that's pretty much all there is to it. And then there's all kinds of designs. So I'll show you the other 2 that I have out. And you can emboss with this. So you can take the same thing, turn it over, and emboss it. So I have this one that I was going to use sometime today, and I have this one that I'm going to use some more today. And I'm hoping this is clear because I can only see part of the screen. So these are 2 I had pulled out to use. And then you just keep on cranking. And that's how it works. Bye!